Jack Willard live outside, popping on to pop off on a Wednesday afternoon. I don't know if I'll see the comments here. I have not used this particular phone to ever do live on location, as strange as that is. So Andy just helped me out, and I think we're achieving that. What's been happening around here is Spectrum, who we use just for internet these days, is putting in a whole new system. We had no cable Monday night after, say, 11:30 p.m. It's spotty. Since then, I have no idea if when we're ready to do Worldwide Ramblings tonight at 10 p.m., I will have internet. But Teresa Panel is here saying hi, Jack. And Pam Donnelly, I don't have a cough button out here. No, you're going to hear the cough because I don't have the ability to silence it. How's everybody doing? Not easy walking backwards, you know. I mean, several teachers said I was a little backwards, but you know, I don't embellish that kind of negativity. The grass is getting tall because it's been raining so much that we have not been able to mow it. I'll probably walk into deer poop, you know. What are you going to do? We have a virtual zoo that comes here to visit. 3-4 feral cats. And allergies are killing me, says Pam Donnelly. Oh dear. Rhonda Wolf is waving with a pink hand. And let's go over to the gazebo. There's our new cool lanterns. That's an addition this year. They're old, but they're new to us. And they light up at night. The colorful bushes are coming in. They don't stay colorful for long. But one of them is in. And I guess I should show you the master gardener next door. That's Dennis. He's not the menace, though. Oh, here's Jupiter Realm. Good afternoon, Jack. Hi. Welcome to you. Regina Terwilliger. Hi. Let's go over to the master gardener, huh? This guy puts in a lot of work every year. It's so sad every October to see it all, you know, be destroyed by the elements. And then comes winter, which goes on for, I think, 9 to 10 months. I'm not sure. But yeah. We'll have to walk this way. Walk this way, will you? So we're hoping to be able to do Worldwide Ramblings tonight. But I can't say for sure. Because Spectrum is working. And the pole that they work on for this street is right outside our broadcast window. I think we may have faster service now. Maybe we won't cut out, you know, crash. I never factored the walking back part, so I'm going to show you the master garden here. I mean, this is just the start of it. I didn't tighten my pants enough, so losing my pants would not be a good thing. Now, one thing I didn't expect to encounter here is on the ground, oh, a dead blue jay. I kid you not, there's a dead blue jay right there. I'm guessing most of the audience doesn't want to see that. He looks peaceful, and it's probably a cat, one of those feral cats. They're such a beautiful creature, and he wasn't paying attention, and here came the cat. And now it's just like he's sleeping peacefully. Hello to, how would you say your first name? Christina. Looks like Saban said hi. Seven. Hard to see. I'm not wearing my glasses, of course. Oh, baby girl is here. Baby girl 957. That means you were born in September of 57. And I'm not the brightest bulb on the tree, but that means Karen has joined us here. Gee, I call Karen baby girl. And here she is. Hi there. Hi, Karen. Little picture of her. And now we chased her away, I think. She noticed. Maybe she'll come back. Cat would have probably ate it, huh? How gross is that? Well, just look away for a second if you don't want to see this, okay? Just look away for a second. Okay, that's enough of that. So the garden is really just starting. It'll get more and more luxurious, and that means it'll get harder to see. Excuse me. No cough button out here. No cough button. So into the gazebo here. Into the gazebo we will go. And should we get the easy chair? I think that would be a good thing. Oh, now. There we are. It's so nice to have spring in the Hudson Valley, you know? Spring in the Hudson Valley. There she is, baby girl, 957. I see it now. Can I get those comments to come up? I see only Regina, Teresa. Oh, you saw the blue jay, Karen. Now bury it, huh? That's the maintenance guy's job, you know. I'll say a few words at his funeral, but I haven't buried things since my days as a young serial killer, you know. Pam Donnelly, blue jays are a bad bird. They're pretty, but they raid other birds' nests. Oh, I see. Well, as soon as I put the air conditioner up in the bedroom over there, birds will have found a new home, and they'll be chirping at the first sign of daylight all summer long, you know? That kind of thing. I can't tell. Can I tell how many we have on? I think we have 26 and 3 likes. Yes, hit the like button and the notification bell, because here we are popping on to pop off. Unsure whether I'll have a signal upstairs. That's a hard line. can't use data on a hardline computer. I would just have this, the phone. We just got back from Mr. Washy Laundry. And of course, Karen had to run in the ShopRite to get a couple of things. I ran into Kung Fu Tea to get a chai milk tea. So delicious. So delicious. I remember when they opened, I said, they just serve drinks? This place is going to die, especially in the winter. I'm not always right. I'm right 90% of the time or more. But that place is a freaking gold mine. It's a gold mine. They are most responsible for people parking in the fire lane and running in to get their specialty drinks. And right next door is Mr. Washy's dry cleaning business, which is Dutch Girl Cleaners. So there you go. How beautiful he is. Hopefully he's gone on to a much better world. I mean, think about being a chipmunk. A poor chipmunk, the cutest thing, who lives in the garage when we find one until he gets caught by a cat. And since we have so many ferals around here that come, it's only a matter of time before they get them, you know. So what I do is I put some peanuts in the garage and shut the door so that he has food. And I've been known to put some water in there too, but I haven't seen any chipmunks come this way this year so far. We call him Chucky. Every chipmunk gets the name Chucky, and we try to get him some food because he comes out to grab the bird seed that's on the ground here. And what happens, of course, eventually is a cat gets him. Hockey 92.7 FM is here on our Pop On to Pop Off. Hello. Name one Alvin. Okay, I will. If I see one. You know, we used to have a bunch of squirrels, but they're afraid of these feral cats too, you know. We had Sammy the squirrel and his wife Samantha, their children Stanley and Sabrina. There you are. Oh yeah, they see the wave there. And Todd Bradshaw, how are you? Welcome to my gazebo. Come on down. Howdy, Jack. Hello, all. Nice to have you here. I was saying we have Spectrum Internet, and they're doing a whole revamping of their system. I think it'll be better. And they tend to work late at night, but we've had internet going out during the day, so I'm not sure around 10 o'clock tonight, worldwide ramblings time, whether or not we will be able to have a signal since I work off a hardline computer. I just don't know. Monday night, we definitely couldn't have done it. There was no internet from like 11:30 at night all night long. All night long, which means no cable, no nothing, you know, just what we have here on the phone. And now I know how to do live from the phone. I don't know why it took me so long to get this much done. Hey, have you guys heard that there's a Netflix special coming up? Once again, this time, if that's true, I'm definitely going to have to get Netflix. Do you have to buy Netflix for a long period of time, or is it like any other service that you can own for just a month and then cancel or whatever? Because we can't have like 5 or 6 services. Karen wants HBO Max to see that, what's that thing with Cynthia Nixon, begins with a G? You know, a period piece. She wants that. Hi, Tom M. Where are you watching from, Tom M? Hi, Deborah Lake. How's it going for Deborah Lake? If I miss your comments, I just see a few here at the bottom. So it's not like I'm seeing my usual big screen, but if I miss you the first time around, in other words, I probably won't see you. You can cancel any time, says Susie Young. Yeah, because there's been this talk about a documentary with Bob Joyce and Walita, and that they're interviewing this one and they're interviewing that one. I don't know if that's fake news or not. Paul Comfort, hey, hi, how are you? Oh my goodness, Hockey 92 hitting the thanks button for 1999. 1999, aren't you nice? Making sure that May is taken care of. I am thrilled that the Nancy DeMarco's visit to Household of Faith is well over 3,000. You never know, I didn't do anything provocative. I did something positive, and I want to do more of that, I don't want to be a pain to Pastor Bob Joyce. I want to be a friend of the church. Now, since I'm also the chronological storyteller, and nobody's really doing that still, a lot of people seem to be afraid to speak into a mic, or, they rarely do. And so there's a story to go on. You can't just, you can't treat this story like you're playing darts and just throw darts to the dartboard. You have to have the spoken word mixed in. Now they just put up mostly videos, and that AI voice that is in so many things, and half the information is incorrect. Half of the information corrects what that same voice said before, because it's I guess AI. Thank you so much, Hockey 1992, Hockey 92, for hitting the thanks button for 1999. You're a peach. You're a peach. And I know Todd Bradshaw knows where that line comes from. I was so disappointed, Todd Bradshaw, when I found out that they did that all on a back lot, I think we all wanted to move to Bedford Falls, like I want to move to Collinsport, Maine, and both of those places don't exist in real life. But I've never let that stop me before. I mean, when I was a little kid down on Excelsior Avenue in 1959, I've said this before, I had an imaginary friend who lived in the woods who wore, interestingly, headphones. Now, this wasn't somebody my age. This man had to be 70 or 65, 70, and he wore headphones. He had a bald head, and he sat in the woods, I guess on a chair in front of a desk. I was 4 years old, and I called him California. By the time I was 16, California was calling my name like, with an allurement I couldn't resist. And since I couldn't afford a plane, I went on a Greyhound bus. Remember when they had the Ameripass and you could get like a month's worth of Greyhound anywhere you wanted to go for like $150 or something like that? Just keep going, you could spend your whole month on a Greyhound bus if you wanted to. I bet you there's some homeless that did that. Yes, Todd, you remember Bedford Falls. I know that. Mike Fortner, hello there. See, it says said hi when I'm out here. It doesn't say you in real time, per se. That's one thing I noticed. I mean, I'm not the brightest bulb on the tree, but I noticed the difference. Tom M., I am going to ask Priscilla, did you ever kiss Bob Joyce? Ha ha. Well, there are three burly men there, Tom, and they won't like you if you do that. They won't like you. You want those men to like you, because it depends on the length of time you will be there. As for me, who knows? Who knows? I mean, my favorite joke was they will, in a friendliest way possible, escort me out of the building, throw me into the dirt. Then Bob will come out, look over as I'm laying there and say, Jack, it seems like you have left the building. Bye-bye for now. I don't know. It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite movie. Don't you just want to be in that movie? Don't you want that to be your world? A more innocent time. A more innocent time. But even then, we had to deal with the scoundrel that was Drew Barrymore's grandfather, Lionel Barrymore, as Mr. Potter. Mr. Potter. I've watched it 13 times in one Christmas season. I've definitely watched it several times in a Christmas season. Have you seen both the color and the black and white? I know you're going to tell me you prefer the black and white. Sandra Weber, hi y'all. Hi you all. How you doing? How you doing? Nice. I know you've been here before, Sandra. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see. We have 32 watching, 13 likes. Please hit the like button if you like anything at all. Hockey 92 saying hello to Sandra. Weber. Oh, yeah, I don't think Weber's is here anymore down in the, what would that be? That would be the east section of town. Used to be in downtown Middletown when I was a kid. Weber's, what a great store. You know, I mean, those old wood plank floors, you know. Smelled of cigar smoke because two men in there smoked cigars while working, and that smell never left, whether they had one lit or not. Well, hello there, Jane Justice and Margaret. Just had I thought when I first glanced at this, I thought you were saying Anne Margaret just had a baby. No, you'd have to go back to the time when she was in the rock opera Tommy, covered in Heinz beans. And she still looked good. You know, let's face it. She still looked good. She had a birthday. So she's somewhere in her 80s, right? Oh, now my nose is itchy. That means I'm telling a lie, and I'm not. Anne Margaret was actually covered in Heinz beans in the rock opera Tommy. Have you noticed Roger Daltrey lately is getting pretty crotchety at 83, 84 years old? But, yeah, 84. I thought that if I were to guess an age, I thought that could be it. I thought that could be it. And she just did one of those fan conventions recently. Priscilla does them too. The difference could be that everyone's going to love Anne Margaret. Not everyone's going to love Priscilla. But I think a lot of people do. But I kind of was surprised when we did the Priscilla topic, and a lot of people were saying negative things. But I think some people, you know, feel a different way. But since I do the Pastor Bob Joyce topic, you know, they're going to be loyal to him before they are to Priscilla. Now, why would there be any connection, though? I'm not saying Elvis. I'm saying Pastor Bob. I don't know. Yeah, Anne Margaret was great. She was great all the way into Grumpy Old Men. But come on, Walter Matthau, Anne Margaret. I loved Walter Matthau. But it's like, you know, Christy Brinkley with Billy Joel. Goes back to the time when the late, great, and he was so funny, Norm Macdonald was doing the news on Saturday Night Live, you know, back before they were woke BS propaganda that, oh, they had so much material they could have used with Joe Biden. So much, and they didn't do it. They mostly didn't do it. But don't lose your train of thought, Jack. Yeah, okay. So we found out the news that Christy Brinkley was going to divorce Billy Joel, you know? And he said, this week it was announced that Christy Brinkley will be divorcing Billy Joel. The reason? She's Christy Brinkley and he's Billy Joel. He may be one of the greatest of all times, but, you know, Brad Pitt, he is not, you know. He looked pretty good back in the day, though. Now he looks like basically a gynecologist or psychologist, something like that, you know. Howdy, Tess. Tess J is here. Tommy, Timmy, Tammy, Toomey, J, Tessie is here. Hi, Tess. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Jane Justice, she was with Jack Lemmon in the first movie. Yeah, Jack was with Sophia Loren. That was more of a match to me, but still. Sophia Loren was in Grumpy Old Men? I'm forgetting. I don't remember that, because that would have been a competition of older beauties, you know, two of the most beautiful women in the world in the same movie. And that can always be dangerous. You know. She was with Jack. Okay. Straighten me out there, because I'm getting confused. What did Todd say? Howdy, Tess. Glad you made it. Me too. Yeah. Okay. Tess has retracted her message. She thought better of it. Doing great, Jack. How about you? I'm okay. Tomorrow we got to go to Westchester to meet Karen's potential surgeon. And Karen's got a new ritual now that before we go out, she's my makeup artist. Even if I'm not going to camera, she puts makeup on me because I got this blotchiness, you know. One of the medications is causing this. And sure enough, I was watching Waters last night, Jesse Waters' Primetime, and the great William Shatner came on, and he had all that redness. You know, it's not like he was doing the Unexplained where he's got heavy makeup on, you know. So he didn't have any makeup on. He still looked great and young, but he had red cheeks like he had sunburn or something. I don't know. And you can never give William Shatner enough time. You know, these segments are too quick. He gave him a longer segment than usual, William Shatner on Primetime and all that on the Kroll. But you really want a long time when you have somebody like 94-year-old William Shatner on. He says Bob Joyce is young, you know. He's just a kid. Dick Van Dyke, 100 years old, still looks like Dick Van Dyke. Why is it that there are actors, like I was talking about singers too. I was looking at Merle Osmond. I was a big fan of the Osmonds, you know. Donny Osmond has got to be, I think he's won the title of Mr. Las Vegas now. Nobody has the consistency and the length of time. I know Wayne is still there in a small theater, but, you know, I think it would have to go to Donnie. But Merrill is 72, and he kind of looks older sometimes, you know. I'm thinking, gee, he looks this way at 72, and Dick Van Dyke at now, I guess, 100, looks kind of as young or younger than him, you know. And I know Merrill is going to the gym, just like Dick Van Dyke still does what he can. That's his secret, eating well and exercising, you know. I thought I'd have to become a Catholic priest if I was going to exorcise. Robin Roman and Margaret was never beautiful. Oh, now, come on, Robin Roman. Maybe sexy. But not beautiful. Sophia Loren was beautiful and sexy. Oh, dear. I don't know, you know. Did you see Tommy the Rock Opera? Now, there isn't any reason, Robin, that you fell out of favor with Anne. She didn't do or say anything that would make you say that, right? I know. I can see what you're saying. Sophia Loren is more beautiful. I guess I could say that. Jupiter's Realm. I love the Osmonds. Yeah. Saw them in concert when I was just a kid in the 70s at the War Memorial in Rochester. Rochester, what a scary place. At night, a scary place. I don't think it's gotten any better. I don't think it's gotten any better. Suzanne Summers is live, it says. Well, she really isn't, but her family is, and that means Big Al. So any chances of Karen being here now, forget it. She's watching Alan Hamill, although I think I might hear her in the kitchen. Alan Hamill and probably Violet Summers, granddaughter of Suzanne Summers. Alan is her, he's the widower. And he's 88 years old and looks great. Comes on wearing these shirts buttoned halfway down or more than halfway down his chest. Sometimes he's got the shorty shorts on, and he's got the smooth legs. I mean, this guy is, for 88 years old, that's how you want to look at 88 years old, And he's dating again. He was dating somebody Dick Clark's widow. He was dating, I don't know if he still is, Dick Clark's widow, and his daughter, who comes on, does broadcast usually on Sunday for Suzanne Summers products and what have you, and has her own thing too. She was okay with Dick Clark's. You can figure this out, ladies and guys. She was okay with him dating Dick Clark's ex-wife, I mean his widow, but not so much when these younger girls are coming around that are probably a lot less wealthy, because they may have other motivations, whereas Dick Clark's widow is probably at least in her 70s, and she's got her own money. That's really important to the kids who dad is dating when dad's got money, honey. Thank you, Pam Donnelly, for coming in. I hope to see you later. I'm not sure if we'll have a signal upstairs or not, because they are doing cable. They are working to update the cable, the Spectrum cable around here, and that includes the Wi-Fi, obviously. It's 0 degrees here where I live in Australia. Do you mean Celsius, Jackie Organ? 0 degrees Celsius, because we don't do Celsius, and so we'll never, half of us at least, will never know what temperature it really is if you don't use Fahrenheit. Why did we ever need Celsius? They tried so hard in the 70s here in New York. The radio DJs had to say it's 72 degrees Fahrenheit and 26 Celsius. And the people just said, we don't want your Celsius. 40 watching right now on our pop on to pop off and 20 likes. Yes, please hit the like button. Again, Hockey92, thank you for hitting the thanks button for $19.99 in a pop on to pop off. Yeah, Tess is back. Tess is back. And X-Rock Radio. X-Rock Radio. Hi, Jack. Looking great in the natural light. Well, natural light with a little bit of, as I say, Karen's makeup now that she put on before we went to the laundromat. I just don't like that blotchiness, and I'll go to the dermatologist. I'll spend the money for the copay and what have you, and then they say, yeah, not much you can do about that. Who knows what medication is doing it? You're on like 7 or 8, I don't know if that's going to continue to be the number, because as I said on the last studio show up there in the studio, my stellar New York City prescription coverage, which has been in effect probably since the 40s or the 1950s, is going to become less stellar. So now I'm on two very expensive. One is very expensive, over $100,000 a year, and that's the Camzyos, which is having great results for patients that have cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy. It's really helps the heart function, the blood pumping, and you have to go every 3 months to get a cardiac sonogram to make sure everything is cool. Well, now, after you've been on it, and I've been on it for a while now, they're saying the results are so positive for this drug that they're going to cut it down to a requirement for every 6 months. So that's every 6 months I have to go see Dr. Naidu down there at Westchester Medical Center. If he goes along with that, you know, you don't fight the superstar cardiologist that I'm very fortunate to have. If I was living in Oshkosh, Bagosh, Wisconsin, I think that's where they were located, that company, that kids' clothes company. I wouldn't have access to somebody like him potentially, you know. 41 watching right now. So thank you, K-Rock Radio. Where are you watching us from? Jack, it is 32 degrees, right on the freezing mark, huh? Okay. Well, at least if you say 0 again, I'll probably remember it's 32, unless you meant that it's freezing in terms of what the freeze mark is, which is 32 degrees. Just put it in riddle form for me, Jackie Organ. But I'd much rather you favor us by going over to the Wurlitzer and playing us a uncopyrighted tune. Well, even if you did that, they'd cut it in real time. I have to do it in a pre-recorded video, and YouTube has to make a decision whether I can put the video up or not, you know, or whether it's just not available to me. The thing there that can bite you in the keister is that they will say you can, but you can't monetize it. And usually I'm fine with that because I want to share this, my gift to you, you know, that kind of thing. Other times, like with the song I play from Pastor Bob Joyce's Safely Home CD, they said you can share the profits, which is a very Christian thing to do from Pastor Bob Joyce's record company and him himself, you know. That's a very nice thing. But with other songs or anything you put up that has a potential copyright, if you're using a fair use clip, I've been through this before, you will usually win that. You'll use that. But if this happened with the Jamie Lissau video, anybody remember Jamie? He's on Gutfeld, and we saw him live in Poughkeepsie back in December. Very funny, very nice man. And he sold out this comedy club in Poughkeepsie right by the train station. And so I put it up. The YouTube verdict was I can put it up, but I can't monetize it. And then about 2 months later, I can almost think of the name of the comedy, dry bar comedy, I want to say. They said, "Oh no, you can't use that," even though I was only using about 7 minutes. And I got a copyright strike from that. You know. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. People that are not monetized, that put up all the copyright stuff in the world, I guess they don't care about that because they know they're not making money off of it, you know, potentially. I think, as I say, with dry bar comedy, I agreed you can't monetize, and I agreed to that, which means they would get any money the video made, but yet they said, no, it's got to come down. Copyright strike. One more slap in the face, you know? I mean, heck, I was using just enough for people to want to see more of Jamie Lissau. But not all things are fair in life. Debbie Inglis knows that. Hi, Debbie. I'm out here in the gazebo. This is the first time I've used this phone. This is how slow I am technologically. Now you'll see more of my going out live. You'll see me in various locations because the summer is going to come upon us, and there'll be things going on there. You'll see me at Lyndhurst Mansion on the 19th of July, if all goes well. I mean, it's funny. That weekend we got like 3 very important things. So if Karen has surgery, she's probably going to say, I can't do it till at least the 22nd of July, unless there'll probably be a short recovery time. But you never know with back surgery. And I understand people that say this guy, they don't put bad doctors at Westchester Medical Center. They're the good ones. But, you just, there's no guarantees in life except death and taxes. And I would add, it's a new word I've invented. I would add the judgment seat of Christ. Whether you believe in him or you don't, I would go for the belief part. Yay, got a live that I didn't even know was going to happen like 20-some minutes ago. How long have I been on here? Can I see that? Well, I've been on 40 minutes. See how fun, how fast things go when you're having fun with the virtual church of the Disillusioned family. Why are you calling it that? Some of the new people would say. Well, then I got to go back to the 2015 explanation. Anyway, I remembered that I was halfway through talking about the Bob Joyce documentary, and then something caught my attention, or I'm saying hello to you, and as I do so many times, I never go back to the story. But this time I remember that, I know I didn't finish my prescription story either, but I remember that was reading somewhere that Netflix is going to have a documentary on Pastor Bob and Melinda. This just sounds unfeasible to me. And then there's this other group, I'm not going to say anything about them, that have been contacting me for a while, wanting me to be part of their documentary that they're doing. They know nothing about a Netflix special, they said, which could be really bad news for you, by the way. But I just can't see church members, and I certainly can't see Pastor Bob and Willina talking to documentary people, because, we often talked about how amazing it is that they have a very contained reaction to the pastor from Benton, Arkansas. And I don't know if it would be contained at that point. So maybe they're going to build a much bigger sanctuary on the new property. They're supposed to start work on that next in a very, very short time, I assume, with a professional big crew. Otherwise, it'll be in the year 2525. And I don't know if Bob will be young enough to still preach then. But if it's God's will, he would be. I'll be long gone, though. Let's face it. Let's face it. Too many pizza pies, Bernie. Hello, Bernie McKenna, right? Hi, Jackie and Hockey. Oh, he's talking to Jackie Organ. I see. I used to be Jackie on 92 Rock 7 at the Big Castle, about less than a mile up this very same row of former State Armory. Jackie London for a while I was. Jackie London all night long. This goes back to the 80s. Lonely women calling me on the request line, 2, 3 in the morning. Hey, Jackie, what's going on? I'm listening to you in bed. It would sometimes go like that, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. There. Hi, Rita, lovely Rita Maid. Ariaga? I'm still probably mispronouncing that. Yes, bigger church, going to be Pastor Bob, i.e. Elvis legacy? So you mean he's going to come out of the closet and into the street, out of the closet and into the street, or into the big sanctuary? And I understand if that does happen, further back on that same 9 acres of land beyond the sanctuary with a separate fence around it will be a beautiful house. And it is rumored that it'll be electrified. But if Pastor Bob notices that one of his fans are caught on the fence, he's going to turn it down to simmer, because he's a man of compassion. Going to turn it right down to simmer. I just stole a Johnny Carson line, which he stole from whichever one of his writers. People say I'm cold and aloof, said Johnny, but it's not true. Just the other day, one of the fans got caught on my electric fence, and I turned it down to simmer.
Oh dear. Jackie saying Jack with some smiley faces there. So yeah, I don't know what's going on here. When I start hearing about two various documentaries, one that could be on Netflix, anybody hear about this? I don't know. I don't know. This story has only gotten stranger and stranger. The Greg Pritchard video took us in a strange direction, and you can bet your bottom dollar he's taking his very talented. I mean, I've never heard him play. I just have a feeling it's in the genes. You know, if his father is a musical conductor and he plays instruments as well, and a very accomplished man, he, you know, obviously mentored his son, and there are other people. I just know someday I hope to see Aiden play in his rock and roll band, and he does a lot of Elvis songs. He's already got like 50 in his repertoire. Uh, and they're, keep in mind, they're down there in the Atlanta, Georgia area. If I can find a bulletproof vest and a helmet, I'll go down there. All these places that you used to think were safe, you know? See what happened in Times Square just the other day in Kathy Hochul's New York? I mean, the mayor can only do so much, Mayor Adams, when his hands are tied, you know, with all this boulder dash. And then you got D.A. Bragg, you know? And need I say, Letitia James. I mean, my God, there, you know, you literally have to have some kind of a substation in the Times Square area where there's 50 officers on duty that in a moment's notice they can, or they're already out there and they can just come charging out because their officers were overwhelmed. One of them, 12 years old, who had no fear attacking a cop. That kid needs to spend at least till he's 21 in a detention center. We cannot have this nonsense. We cannot have this nonsense happening. When you're 12 years old, if you're going to do that to a armed cop who you know doesn't want to shoot you, what are you going to do to grandpa and grandpa who you see are well dressed and may have a nice wallet full of money or credit cards or whatever? What are you going to do? I don't see how anyone could have been reelected governor, or really she was elected for the first time, when New York is in freaking shambles, when people don't want to go to Broadway anymore because they don't want to be attacked. Don't get me started. My blood pressure's going up here. I remember how we used to feel safe parking at Port Authority bus terminal, or I by myself often, but not always, you know, with various wives that I've had along the way. Or friends, and you feel safe parking yourself. It was cheaper, you know, and then just walk from 42nd and 8th to wherever you want to go. And, you know, by the end of the day, you're come back at 11 o'clock at night, whatever, and your bill would only be like $15 back then. And you felt safe doing that. Not anymore. Not anymore. You'll be walking towards the elevator, and here comes a posse, and it's all over for you. If they don't kill you, it'll be they just didn't feel like it today. You know, catch and release for violent crimes sometimes. It's absolutely crazy. Ruining New York. Ruining New York. We've got to change all this. I mean, my goodness, think of the governor of Illinois. Think of the governor of Oregon, Wisconsin, and other places. They have violated their oath. They took an oath to protect the people. They have violated it. They should be sent packing, in my humble opinion. 43 watching and 27 likes. I'm all over the map. I realize it on this pop on to pop off. What about the 3 officers in Memphis not guilty? Unbelievable. Now that I'd have to think back because there's so many of these things. Sometimes there's bad cops and they do the wrong thing. And I'm trying to remember that specific situation, Sandra. I realize it works the other way. What the hell was Derek Chauvin thinking about, keeping the pressure on Greg Floyd's throat like that. Even the people that were standing there were warning him about what the consequences for him could be. And he sat there with this defiant look on his face. Where was his self-preservation for his family and his pension and all that, as he did that? I'm not saying Greg Floyd was a saint. He was not in any way, shape, or form, but he didn't deserve that. Make sure the man can breathe, So we have mental illness, and they're all out on the street because liberal women, I'm going to say it that way because they were the driving force, and I know there was liberal men too, pretty much destroyed the mental health situation in our country and let them choose whether they would take meds. Let them choose, and basically replaced the mental health facilities which needed improvement because in some cases they weren't being treated right there. And that certainly happened here in New York, Willowbrook, and that's what made Geraldo Rivera famous back in the 70s, investigating that. They have to be treated fairly. You can't have them treated like animals, for goodness sakes. Would you want that if that was your family member? So I'm not really sure. You have to. The pastor seems to like to collect houses with a new one. It will be 3. Well, he doesn't own Graceland. He doesn't own the one I believe Greg Pritchard went to, I don't think. And, people show me updated pictures of the new house. Not of the new house. I know in the past, somewhere might still be up in this 500 plus videos I have. I showed that other house. I didn't have the best pictures that I have of it now, but I just feel conviction in my heart that makes him less safe. And I think he has 24-hour security, and so should the other one, by the way. I think there's 2. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. I speak of possibilities. I could be wrong about the whole thing. I think I've said that one before, Jackie. Sorry, I forgot to include Graceland. That would be for, well, I think Riley, I think Riley has the keys to that. And she said, Grandpa, now you can't come back here. First of all, it was a prison to you once. You want something bigger that's less visible. I'm making some money here, Grandpa. This is mine now, and I don't know about that. I think it's Riley Keough that was gifted that. But in terms of the potential 2 houses in the Benton area, I don't think I'm going to put those pictures up. After the Greg Pritchard thing, and those videos are still up as of now, I started to feel that I'm coming a little too close to the edge here, and that's why I was so happy when I put up a positive video from Nancy DeMarco's visit to Household of Faith. That it's doing fairly well. But more than ever, I'm going to need the Worldwide Ramblings audience to help me get, my very meager budget, which is more meager than ever, because you know what they do. You see all these creators. Some of them will just put up other people's stuff and slap their name on it. By the way, here's the angel who lost her wings. Oh, jeez. Hello. She fell down during a rain and windstorm, and her wings now have to be reattached by probably Andy. She's looking kind of depressed about not having wings. I don't know if Todd Bradshaw is here, but he knows that in A Wonderful Life, the movie, Clarence didn't have wings until the very end where we could no longer see him anymore. He earned his wings. Or our young lady here,
has lost her wings in a terrible fall. So they'll have to be reattached. So sorry, I forgot to include Grace. What's the third one? I know you're figuring 2 houses in Benton. Where's the other one that you would feel? I have a broken angel too, Jack, says lovely Rita Maid. My husband bought them for me, and it was on a little stand outside. Yeah, then the wind and the rain came, right? I feel so bad. I don't think I can glue it back together too many pieces. Yeah, that can be a problem. TP says, probably you don't like that handle, right? Every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings. LOL. Yeah, that's exactly right. Jack, there are a lot of positive stories coming from people who visit the pastorate household of faith. That's very, very true. But at the same point, I can't do part 2000 of that, you know. And please, if you're going to do that story, let me know what you don't want me to include. Sometimes I know what I can't include, you know. Somebody says this woman and her name was da 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 to me in an email. Excuse me. She didn't ask to be on my channel, so I'll just delete that name as I read it. But other times, you know, I have to go back and forth and see. Always let me know. It's always great if you write your letter like you're writing it the way you want me to read it on air. If I have to eliminate something for some reason, I have to do it. But I'm not looking to censor you. You know, it just depends what you write. So that's one aspect of the story, sure. But if that's all I do, people will get tired of it. Now, if there's a legitimate breaking news item, I'm gonna have to do it, you know. But in terms of, you know, hammering this to Bob Joyce thing, when I've already done it enough, we had a new angle, obviously, when Greg Pritchard went to, who I believe is maybe Robert Wayne Joyce's house, and that video, he allowed him to do that video. So that spawned like 9 other videos that have all done fairly well. Nothing like the big guys. You know, if I got what the big guys get in views, I wouldn't probably say you really need to hit the thanks button, because, you know, you get paid per 1,000 views. If a video doesn't make 1,000 views, that means I basically did a free video, I guess. But that's okay too. That's all part of it. Todd Bradshaw is still here. He's still here. And we're already almost an hour into a pop on to pop off. Isn't that wonderful? 42 watching and 27 likes. Please hit the like button and the notification bell. We're still planning on being on at 10 o'clock tonight, unless I have no internet. And then even then I could pop on this way if I can remember how to do it. So we'll see about this this other documentary that's coming out. You know, when you don't know anything about the people that are doing it and they don't have anything to show you, it, you know, it's you gotta be careful here. Now, when I do something with Gene Ho, we use his technology. He just sends me a link, just like my therapist does, that I get my Xanax from. He's a nurse practitioner, and he just sends me a link, and I can see him in the video. I just sign in and join his link. So I hope that's what they're talking about. But of course, I would never say anything that's definitive, because I just speak of possibilities, you know. And I just can't imagine something showing up on Netflix. Let me know, guys, if you hear anything about that yourselves. I think a fly came down my throat.
I have no idea to shut this off when the time comes, like end video. It's been a while since I went live on my phone, but here we are doing it. I'm considering going to House of Faith, but I don't think I would meet him. Really? No one has ever said that to me. He has 8x10s. He'll sign it for you. And there's CDs if you want to purchase them and what have you. All funds go to the church. He does not take money for it. Jack, you say 2 pastors, then what's the deal with Walina? Yeah. It's not like I haven't thought of that, Jane. It is, because it's Pastor Bob that we see, I have to say, most weeks now, that went to Mar-a-Lago with Walina. It's that Pastor Bob that was in the restaurant in Hot Springs with Pastor Bob, and other places. Of course, people that cover the story will say, well, it's like it's not like Walina doesn't know him. She was his girlfriend in Germany and may have played a major role in, obviously the line of thinking is that Robert Wayne Joyce was a pastor. Some say in Texas he was a pastor, maybe first in the Methodist Church. I don't know. I think I heard something like that. And Walina and what did he used to call himself before Pastor Bob? I always forget that name. They kept in touch with each other, and when Pastor Bob, as we know him now, was ready to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, which seems like it was 2010, starting first with the home fellowship that John Cook was involved in. Could have been at John Cook's house, for all I know. Pastor Bob simply replaced Robert Wayne Joyce, her husband. I know this is weird. Hey, call me crazy. I kind of like when I get that, because that is more, of a cover for Pastor Bob. And it's not that he's doing any thing covert. I've always said, although we don't understand it, God's ways are not our ways. I've always said that I believe that what Pastor Bob does is ordained of God for such a time as this. And he's been doing it since 2011. So there you go. I mean, this buzz has been going on since 2011. So I think the Holy Spirit has this all in check. So, they can't be staying in the same room in Mar-a-Lago, right? If this is too weird. This is just too weird. But yet, it seems to be right in front of your face. It's all one man, really? Well, then he'd probably have to be one of those people that can transform. Have you seen some of those videos where there's this, and it's been happening on The Voice or American Idol? No, the one that Cal's in, which would be Britain's Got Talent, right? What is going on here where some person live before their eyes is this old man turns his or her back and turns around, and it's a beautiful, attractive woman. I know we have AI, I know we have CGI, but this is happening live on a stage. I can't even believe I'm saying what I'm saying. Or the video of a guy, I don't think he's on stage, but you say, what? They say, watch this, and he crouches down and turns into a cute little white dog, not a Maltese, but something like maybe a poodle, maybe a Maltese, I don't know. And then the kid comes in and pets the dog. What the heck is going on here? Am I taking acid, Todd Bradshaw, or is this really something I'm seeing? I know when Todd sent me those magic mushrooms, he called them, he just said tasty mushrooms from his garden. I didn't realize that they may take me to another dimension of space and time. I just don't know. I can't see my email, of course, right here. I can't see it. I've got one screen. There's no screen to my left, you know? um, I think Jane is saying what? She believes there's only one in total? That's virtually impossible, I would have to say. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. You know I was the Tin Man once, don't you, Todd Bradshaw? Oh, if we had that video, folks, from 7th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade, that would be so embarrassing. I would probably dig a hole and never come out. I can't dance. What was I doing as the Tin Man? The one who sang to her is the real one. Yeah, most times it's the real one. But you know, one time I'm almost positive if we're right about the two Bob Joyce theory, I speak of possibilities. When he looked in that camera and said, I can't just be myself. Get that tape. I got to look it over. What month and year was that? It was in the strip mall, Church. I know that. I can't just be myself. Somebody send me that in a email, Jack the Fair Guy, F-A-I-R, jackthefairguy@gmail.com. I have a feeling when he said, I can't just be, I should have addressed this long ago, can't just be myself, I have to be one of three people, which is insincere because although he has the Kenny Rogers look, everybody says one person when they say he's somebody else. For the most part, you'll always find some Joe Schmo or Jane Schmo, but you know what I mean. That person who said, I'm Bob Joyce, I've always been Bob Joyce, I think that man was telling the absolute truth. And if that isn't more clever than anything that I've ever witnessed in an entertainment story, really a news event story, that is it. I never considered until more recently that they could from time to time switch off until I saw the man who Greg Pritchard captured when Greg came to the door. Well, I think it was more Tess can say I am what I am, and that's and that's all that I am. I think he said the same thing Popeye said. What did Popeye say? I am who I am. I think that was it. And then, so I got that from a source that somebody had come to visit him. Son, I say this in a video, the Memphis Mafia's son, and asked him point blank who he was. And I think he was talking to the one we see most Sundays. And he said, I am who I am. So I can tell you that there are people there that if you cause a problem, you will be dealt with. You will be dealt with. So what I'm trying to do, Todd, is just, be as positive as I can. We want to talk about the Gene Ho event. It's not like I haven't talked about the two Bob Joyce theory and what have you. But I know what you said Saturday night where, that he doesn't want to see anymore. And so I don't want to be the guy who's always pushing the envelope. And it may sound like I'm the last person in the world to have the gall to say that. But it's never been my heart to out him, just tell an amazing story. But sometimes the two issues can kind of collide with each other. And I say, well, this feels like a bridge too far. And I've got to pull back, or as the plane will tell you, pull up, because you're about to clip the trees. You're about to clip the trees if you don't. So, the gentleman singing to Walina, Can't Help Falling in Love, and The Wonder of You, I believe is the man we see most Sundays. But obviously, what makes that so weird is that, well, you can figure out the rest. What if he's really singing to Robert Wayne Joyce's wife? Oh, this story is getting too crazy. Too crazy, Todd. What is your best advice for me? Should I just stand in front of Walmart and check to see if people are trying to steal stuff and point people in the direction of sporting goods? You've always been considerate of Bob's feelings and respectful. I'd like to think he knows that. Yeah, I don't know. I've tried to ask Gene Ho that, early on, as I've said many times before. I don't say it as much as I used to. I said if Pastor Bob had a problem with anything I was saying or doing, all he had to do is video message me on Facebook Messenger and tell me that, and I would stop. I would stop. Other than that, I have not been told don't come to Household of Faith. It wasn't like a ringing endorsement. I'm being very careful what I say here. I'm not going to quote someone who didn't intend to be quoted on my channel, who didn't quote it to me. You know what I'm saying? Can you figure out what I'm saying? But that obviously I would know if he was told, tell him don't come here. Don't come here. All right. Yeah, it's just weird though, Tess, when you think about what that means, and how many people have told me that they've been to Household of Faith this year or last year, and the person who answered that door and did the video is not the man they saw in the sanctuary. And then we have a few who saw both, briefly, or in the same day they saw two different men, one at the morning service and one at an afternoon luncheon. These are not crackpots. These are pretty trusted sources, I know the difference between a crackpot and a trusted source, It's discussion, that's all, says Jupiter's Realm. Yeah, I just want to be careful, we love the pastor, and he's doing God's work. And so I don't want to be in any way, believe me, I don't ever want to be an enemy of the Holy Spirit. All these videos that surround Greg Pritchard, they're not going to be up forever. They're still garnishing a considerable amount of attention, but they're not going to be left up forever. So watch them now. But in terms of the whole story, we've been doing this for a long time now, and it keeps, if you're going to be the chronological storyteller and a major event happens, obviously I feel the need to cover it. And I still have to look for titles and subjects surrounding the story that are as positive as I can make them, but they're not the same topic every time, Like here is My Visit to the Church, part 622, that kind of thing. Susan Safiati is here. His sermons have been great. Do you watch them, Jack? I have to be honest and say I do, but not as often and all the way through as I should. People tend to point out important things that I have to check out. You would be in that department, Susan. But not as often as I should. Over the years, there are certain teachers that have influenced me. Jack Hayford, very much, from the Church on the Way in Van Nuys, California. He's gone on to be with the Lord. gentle teachers that teach the Word of God. My pastor, John Torres from Goodwill Church in Montgomery, New York, was someone that, I believed in his message, his form of preaching so much. I helped him. God allowed me, using the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. He used me to get Pastor John Torres on the radio in a number of markets, a number of stations. I was his announcer. I wrote the open and the close for his program, and I don't know that he's on the radio anymore, but he's on video a lot more now from Goodwill Church. And he's fantastic. He's fantastic, verse by verse kind of preacher. So I was more drawn to those kind of preachers, when I used to watch TBN back in the day, and in the 80s, late 80s, I was always watching into the 90s, all through the 90s. I watched Paul and Jan Crouch. Arthur Blessed was very big, very important to me, the cross-carrying evangelist. No one suffered for Christ more than, in modern times, more than Arthur Blessed. And I liked a number of them. I was never really too much for the shouter who does a lot of that, someone who does both wonderfully is T.D. Jakes. He can be quiet and just beautifully preach and teach, and then he can do the whole, dancing and bopping to the organ in time and be that kind of preacher too. I used to like Mario Murillo. I used to like, and a whole bunch of them. Charles Stanley I liked a lot, but I thought he was a little too legalistic sometimes, and he really made my flesh uncomfortable, which means he was probably good for me, because he was not much wiggle room in the world of Charles Stanley. Of course, he's went on to be with the Lord now. And Adrian Rogers was another one that I liked very much. Not so much the guy who yells a lot and just speaks off the cuff so much, but someone who kind of brings out truths in the Word of God. I'm not saying Pastor Bob doesn't do that, but there's a certain style of preaching that I like. And I think since the Holy Spirit is supposed to be that still small voice, I don't think you get that when you go see Rod Parsley, you know what I'm saying? And then we come to find out some of the skeletons in Rod Parsley's closet in terms of the way he treats people, the elders and what have you, and of course lives a lavish lifestyle. I mean, as Joyce Meyer has, with her private jets and this and that, and then one day she preaches a sermon where she's kind of pulling back very much in general thought and saying, well, the prosperity gospel, that was good, but it got out of balance. Yeah, it got out of balance in your life big time, didn't it? Talk about how you screwed up, because people like that when they're honest, So what are you going to say? It's got to be, what time is it? My goodness. 48 watching and 30 likes. I have no idea how to close this out. There's like a typical end button. There probably is. It's just right in front of me, and I just don't know it. But so I'll still do Worldwide Ramblings at 10 o'clock East Coast time tonight. If I'm able to go live in the studio with the hardline, as I say, our Spectrum Wi-Fi and Spectrum in general in this area is being revamped. So that is causing us to lose everything from our cable TV to our Wi-Fi and to our hardline internet. The router goes down, of course. So I don't know if I'll be able to be in the studio tonight, unless I just do a simple short broadcast via phone. That could happen too. We'll try to do that. So thank you for joining this very long pop on to pop off. We just get going here and have a good time. Jack, I still think you should try and get an interview. And interview Matt. Interview Matt, huh? He has such an interesting musical career as an Elvis tribute artist. But you could understand that, since 2018, I've been kind of, a thorn in their side. Um, I would, it's not like it's just anybody asking for an interview, I mean, I have been an annoyance. I think I have been an annoyance sometimes. I mean, Pastor Bob would have to feel on occasion, gee, I scratched my nose on Sunday and he does a video about it on Monday. Matt is going to want to protect his, what is he to Pastor Bob? We've certainly talked about that. But I know that we shouldn't put it out of the realm of possibilities, Jackie, and that we've got to get the Zoom thing going. The Zoom thing going. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Susan Safiati. Thank you, Todd Bradshaw, down there in the Titan state of Tennessee, and all the rest of you. It hasn't rained yet. So how do I say ta-ta and then actually stop this without just shutting off my phone? I don't want to just X out, that seems. This is why I need that young tech person. Talk to you hopefully at 10 o'clock East Coast time tonight, US of A, this Wednesday as I talk to you live. Hello, replay crowd. Thank you for stopping by for this pop on to pop off. And I'll talk to you real soon.